Welcome to Maxine's Revenge. I'm Leah. I want to talk to you about French Face. It is a concealer concentrate that I launched in 2023. It got a little viral and sold out much quicker than I expected, mostly thanks to TikTok. I wanted to extend myself and the brand into YouTube. It's a channel that I watch every day, morning and night. I have been watching beauty on YouTube since 2016. Very happy to be here. And I want to tell you why I launched Maxine's Revenge. I have been in the beauty industry for almost 30 years. I worked at Too Faced and Smashbox and Gucci Beauty. I worked at Sephora 3 different times in San Francisco, Paris, and in Singapore. So it is safe to say that I have been in the global beauty business for a long time. I have worked with trends in skincare, makeup, and fragrance all over Europe, Middle East, and Asia for a number of years. I've done a lot of consulting as well with small brands, worked at big brands too. So I have that perspective. I also hit a midlife crisis that I decided to turn into an upgrade. I came home from Paris at the pandemic. I wanted to do that here versus there, although financially it would have been much better for me to stay there. I just had very little FOMO because the whole world shut down. I couldn't keep going at the pace I was going. I couldn't keep going after one big job after another. I was just breaking and broken. I just let myself only to work on projects and people that I felt called to. In some cases that was pro bono work. One thing led to another. February 13th, 2023, I decided to go out on my own and launch Maxine's Revenge. Why? Because I discovered a niche and I realized there's no makeup brand out there 100% dedicated to that look. So while I'm certainly selling to more than that age bracket, I happen to like the look of an older woman and I want to build formulas that work well on our skin. For me, that meant a really thin but full coverage formula. I'll do another video in more depth on the formula, but suffice it to say, I was very thoughtful about wanting to use a skincare base, not to be a skincare product. For me personally, I want my skincare to be skincare, makeup to be makeup, sun care to be sun care. I happen to like best the way this skincare base that we created held the pigments, and we use a lot of pigments, 24%, which is full coverage. We needed something that would hold well, but particularly be thin for our skin type. Why did I use such minimal packaging? I will talk about that too. Why did I put so much in each tube? 8.5 ml is actually quite high. It's certainly higher than the average. I like to consider Maxine's Revenge to be thoughtfully sustainable. I'm not an activist. I don't want to fearmonger. I don't want any guilt tripping. We are all doing our best. Every little bit we can do to make the world a slightly better place is a win as far as I'm concerned. So I thought I would do today just show you how I use Maxine's Revenge and what I like in terms of a fresh, even complexion using 3 shades. Starting with a skin tone concealer. Light medium sand is the one that I like. It's got more of an olive undertone. You can dot it or stripe it, depending on how heavy you want to go. Even just with that, you see you're getting a little bit more of an even coverage. I'm taking it along the lower orbital bone, so I'm taking that skin tone concealer, adding it where I'm most discolored, in my case red. I'm sort of airbrushing it with a light fluffy brush around my face, and then I can always reassess and add a little bit more. I can absolutely use light medium beige. I am technically a neutral skin tone. I just happen to prefer more of a yellow tone. I really believe the right shade and undertone for you is the one that you feel the most comfortable in. I'll show you what this one looks like so you can see that there's a subtle difference. Either work. I don't want you to feel too stressed about getting the undertone right. You know any makeup artist, you know they have several shades, and for the most part they can make anything work because we have so many different skin tones on our face. So some of what is yellow is going to really counteract redness here, and this beige might not counteract the red as much as a yellow will, but it'll definitely bring a bit of neutral peach to the skin tone, and that already can distract from some of the redness. I think the beauty industry may have gone too far in pushing this notion of get the right undertone. You can work with more than you probably think you can. I'm gonna brontour with deep chestnut. What is brontouring? It's basically a bronze-ish tone added to contour locations on the face. So not a pure bronzer and not a pure contour. A couple dots there where I get a little jiggly. We're not contouring because we're broken. We're contouring just because, you know, we like a little extra definition. So you'll see this is also going to give me a bit of color in the way that a true contour is not meant to do. I like to get this little space between the brow and where your nose starts to slope down. This is a cheap and cheerful e.l.f. brontour or contour brush. It's very dense. Not generally my favorite brush to work with, but I just wanted to smear it in to position more of an extreme, exaggerated look before I really buff it in. I want to give you a sense of how the face can be shaped dramatically with brontouring. We're gonna soften it into tan that suggests a shape but doesn't carve it out in such a harsh way. You see I'm coming up along jawline. A safe way to do it is with a fluffy brush, something like this, because the bristles actually end up softening that line. If you're starting with the bristles under and flicking it up and out, will get some on the front of your face and it just sort of softens the line. With these little dots here, I start up at the top and then I come down to this little V at the tip of my nose. It's okay if it's not perfectly straight. My nose contouring, brontouring is constantly a work in progress. As I think I have way too much on, I'm just gonna take my dry stands out sponge and I just wipe it along there, and you can kind of start to see how my face is changing shape with the contour brontour. Jenny Patinkin's soft fluffy brush to soften each of those lines. Easy. Highlighting with Fair Peach, I'm going to the darkest part of my face, which is my inner eyes above my tear ducts, along the nostrils in a crescent shape, along the contour on my nose, and along the contour under my contoured cheekbones. This small, fluffy, dry brush is going to sort of tap in place. We're not stretching it around the face as much as we were with our skin tone concealer, where we really were dragging it along. We want to more or less just blend where we want the highlighter. Press it into place, and then we'll do an overall facial blend. Right up in here just gets in that nook so well, and then you can drag it down to the trough here, and then over where you had put your skin tone concealer, which was on this lower orbital bone, so I don't get too close to the lower lashes. Makes my eyes look much smaller. Looks a little crazy at first. A damp beauty blender does the trick. In general, I think that kind of creates the softest overall look because it will absorb some of the product. You're going to be left with an even thinner layer than you would if you were just using a brush. If you don't want to lose a lot of product, just use a brush to blend everything together. But if you don't mind picking up some product and gently spreading it around the face, taking some of that top layer off in the process, a beauty blender is for you. With your brontour brush or your shadow brush, you can always bring in some of that depth if you lost it by doing a highlighter right in there. I had done my eyes before I did my face, and some people like to do their eyes first. Use what's left on your brushes. Always set it if you're in a humid climate or you just tend to get shiny. And half the days I set, half the days I don't. I generally don't, but I do want to show what it looks like with powder. You still have a skin-like finish. It's a dewy, very thin, liquidy formula. It should look like real skin, even with powder, still has a bit of that sheen. I forgot, I got this Katie Jane Hughes highlighter in light gold. I want to put some on, even though I did a little bit of powder, it's okay. This is a cream, and you're supposed to put creams before powders, but it's okay. Put it on the lips. I really like her artistry style. I like seeing some of the skin. If that is your style, you will love her artistry. If you, however, want something much more pure porcelain doll looking, you're gonna probably want a matte formula and a thick formula, and you can make that work. It does take more skill, I would say. When you have more textured, crepey skin, to work with that kind of formula. French Face is much more user-friendly. If you don't like that Katie Jane Hughes, see the skin through, have a little bit of a dew, you certainly would not like French Face. But if you do, then it's designed for you. Having more crepey, textured, discolored skin. I can go crazy with this highlighter of hers. It's very thin, it's got a nice natural sheen to it, and I just love it. I want to support other women in the beauty industry. Speaking of Jenny Patinkin, her new brush cleaner, a couple pumps on your brush head, and it not only cleans, but it disinfects. I believe it's $19.99. It's so effective. It has saved me so much time. I'm not being paid for any of this. She sent it to me as a gift. She is a friend. Have any affiliate links or anything. I just love this product, and I like how ethical and kind she is as a person, so I definitely endorse her brand. Thank you so much for watching, and for those of you that have already purchased French Face, I'm so grateful for those of you that have been early adopters. As you know, we've not done any PR, so everything that's out there has been purchased, minus a couple of friends that I actually have that are real girlfriends that I would have given some to. So thank you to those of you who are on the Insiders, the Maxine's Revenge Insiders group, and my inner circle. I just couldn't have done this without you. And for those of you that are new, I invite you to subscribe and get to know some of the community. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.